Let's welcome in our sports editor, Justin Barney, to take a closer look at how the News4Jax Super 10 performed tonight. Before we get into the Super 10, Justin, let's talk a little bit about the Border Classic and what we've seen so far. Some of the teams here did play in the Border Classic, but it has been quite a showcase of Georgia versus Florida football.
Yeah, and I love these Georgia-Florida matchups. I've said it time and again. We don't get these often enough, and now we're getting a deluge of them. 7 games over 3 days. University Christian, Charlton County, the history there and that rivalry, and games like Bowles and Brunswick, where there's no history in the rivalry. So it's good to see these Peach State, Sunshine States, and we got a great slate tomorrow, including teams not in our coverage area, Madison County, Fitzgerald. That may be the best matchup of this entire thing. All
right, let's get to our News4Jax Super 10. We're going to start with Mandarin, a 28-6 win tonight over Riverside. I did not expect Mandarin with a first-year new head coach in Toby Bullock to come out of the gate as hot as they have, but boy, they have fired out right away.
Yeah, Tremel Jones, a quarterback. He's got some great receivers, Kyron Jackson and Jamie French. They have just hit it clicking. And, you know, Toby was the offensive coordinator for that state championship team, so it's not he's not totally unfamiliar with this program.
True. All right, you got Rains tonight. I was out there to watch Rains beat Sandalwood 14-8. This was a game that was sort of played in the muck, although the field wasn't in terrible shape. But, you know, Rains just finds a way to make plays in games like these.
And good to see Rains kind of bounce back. You know, last week's Trinity game, 41-28, not a great performance. I know it seemed a little bit closer than it was, but Rains was never in that game. They bounced back tonight. Good defensive performance there.
White with a 36-13 win. This is a team I feel like on the right day can beat almost anybody if they're firing on all cylinders.
Gabe Garman, Isaiah Teal, Mr. Patterson back there, the versatile athlete there. They are really good, and again, they could contend with anybody any night of the season.
Baker County will play tomorrow in the Border Classic. We'll have that one for you. Jackson 13-10. I don't know what to make of Jackson just yet. They certainly have a lot of talent.
Yeah,
I feel like they're just on the precipice of something.
Yeah, and I've kind of beat the drum for Jackson all season long, even last season. They have really turned a corner. And a game like this, again, a shootout game, they're not on Fletcher's level in many other years, but they've been on that level for the last 2 years in a row. Christopher Foy really building something. Remember, they got a head start in Georgia with Brunswick in week 0. They have played some teams on the road, played them tough, and continue to surprise.
All right, Creekside, we showed you the highlights from yesterday in the Border Classic. Fleming Island, talk about a team you've been beating the drum on. You know, Sam Singleton really hasn't had that huge breakout game yet. Had a pretty good game tonight, but he hasn't had like that 200-yard game just yet. Watch out when he does.
You do, and again, I think Fleming Island is far deeper than a Sam Singleton. They've got a good quarterback, Sebastian Broughton, and their defense probably is the backbone of this team. Abram Wright, just guys all over the field for Fleming Island.
All right, we've got Bartram Trail winning with defense. That surprise you at all?
A little bit. You know, they won with defense in week 1 against Ponte Vedra. Big offense last week in Daytona against Seabreeze. But, again, Bartram, a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team. They're win with offense one week, defense the other, defense the next. So, again, I still want to see a complete performance out of Bartram more consistently.
The only loss on our News4Jax Super 10 is number 2, Bulls losing tonight against Brunswick in the Border Classic. Didn't see that one coming.
Absolutely. You know, 20-3, a field goal tonight for Bowles. You know, after putting up 27 last week against Mandarin, a big win against St. Augustine in week 1. So a disappointing performance offensively. You feel like you just took a step back. But again, you can't discount Brunswick. Garrett Grady's team, very good. They're playing on their home field. And South Georgia football is different. I know Florida football in general is great, but South Georgia football, if you've never been to a game up there, they are legit.
Yeah, it's the sort of environment that you get there is different than a lot of places there. Then, of course, number 1 team in our News4Jax Super 10 have been since the beginning of the year, Trinity Christian. No problem with an FEI tonight, no question there. Again, this is all about making history tonight, this season for Trinity Christian. This is just sort of the next step in the drumbeat.
Yeah, it's, you know, didn't expect them to have any kind of challenge tonight. There's a big challenge on the doorstep next week for them, though.
All right, well, we'll keep a close eye on that one. Let's take a look at our candidates for our Game of the Week. And speaking of Trinity Christian, you see it right there. Baldwin and Baker County could be an interesting one. Baker County has been dealing with weather pretty much every time they go out and play, including having one game called off at the beginning of the year. But Bulls and Trinity, always a huge game since they've renewed that rivalry. Oakleaf and Fleming Island's a great one in Clay County. Stanton at Paxson, great rivalry game as well. There's some 4 really good games to choose from right there.
And for different reasons. You know, Stanton Paxson on the quality on the field, a little bit different. The Brain Bowl every year, an annual game you want to see in Bulls Trinity. Come on.
Yeah, I think we know where we would be voting
exactly.
as far as
and
that
Oakley,
one goes.
Fleming Island, too, the Battle of Clee County. A lot of storylines next week.
Really good. Again, remember, 3 games tomorrow in the Border Classic right here on Channel 4 beginning at 1 o'clock. And if you missed anything from tonight, you can get it all on News4Jax.com. For our entire Channel 4 sports team, Justin Barney, and for myself, thanks so much for watching Football Friday. We are 3 weeks into the season. Feels like we're just getting into the meat of things. It's going to be very interesting as we continue on. Thanks so much for watching.
Live from the local station, News4Jax starts now.
Tonight at 11, a warning for parents whose children use Snapchat. The app has a feature called Snap Map that, according to authorities, can be used by people with bad intentions who target children. The warning went out today after the Flagler County Sheriff's Office arrested this 25-year-old Corby Eisman.
Investigators say he used Snap Map to meet a 16-year-old girl for sex. News4Jax reporter Eric Avanier joins us live to explain how the app works and why a local cybersecurity expert says the app could be dangerous for children.
Yeah, the app allows users to see your location in real time, and according to investigators, Corby Eisman used the app to not only locate a teenage girl, but to drive to the exact location where she was at. 25-year-old Corby Eisman stands accused of having sex with a 16-year-old girl multiple times. According to the Flagler County Sheriff's Office, the girl was using the Snap Map feature of Snapchat when she posted information about herself on the app. Snap Map shows other users your exact location on a map in real time. Investigators say Eisman used the map to locate the girl and then drove to that location where they say he met her in person for the first time. The 25-year-old reportedly identified himself as a 19-year-old and developed a sexual relationship with the underage girl that lasted 2 months. Cybersecurity expert Chris Hammer says this is an example of why children have to be careful while using social media.
Anything that releases your information, your location information, or any information about you beyond your control is dangerous.
Which begs the question as to why the Live Map feature is different than using Snapchat by itself.
Instead of it being a direct conversation between people where your privacy is protected, here you're putting your snap on a map of the area and it's live, which means that somebody can zoom in on that region and see you snapping from a particular location and then coordinate with the video and everything else to get a very good idea of where you actually physically are.
Basically providing people with bad intentions a roadmap to your front door. Now, Eisman is currently out of jail on bond. If convicted on the charge of unlawful sex with a minor, which is a felony, he could face up to 15 years in prison. Reporting live, Eric Avanier, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Eric. Covering Putnam County tonight, the Palatka Police Department reveals new information about what led up to last weekend's deadly shooting outside Vic's Supper Club. After speaking with eyewitnesses, police say Dante Diaz was involved in an argument with 2 people at the club Saturday night. They say he left the club, came back, and when he came back, he was approached by one of the people he was fighting with. Police say Diaz then hit that person with a blunt object. Then they say he and Luther Ward began to exchange gunfire. Both Diaz and Ward died. 2 other people at the club were hit with bullets. Police say anyone with information should contact the police department. New information about a death investigation in northwest Jacksonville. Police now say a man found dead inside a home in Moncrief Park on Monday was murdered. We also learned the victim was 38 years old. Investigators found signs of blunt force trauma on his body. They also say the front gate and front door to the house were not in their normal position. Police have so far not released any information on the suspect, but if you know anything, you are urged to contact the sheriff's office.
Tomorrow, September 10th, is considered the peak of hurricane season, and it was 5 years ago this weekend that Hurricane Irma struck Jacksonville. September 10th, 2017, Category 3 Irma crashed ashore near Marco Island and then tracked north up the state. By the next morning, Jacksonville experienced the worst flooding in the city's 250-year history. Weather Authority meteorologist Mark Collins joining us now. Mark, tomorrow, technically the peak of the hurricane season so far, good news is what we've seen. What's going on with this kind of unusual pattern?
Yeah, it could be the peak with no storms. In fact, Hurricane Earl, it was forecast to become a Category 3 hurricane. That is not happening. And in fact, tomorrow, it will likely become post-tropical. What that means is the Hurricane Center will no longer issue advisories on the system by tomorrow evening. As it encounters colder water, it's going to transition to an extratropical storm, and that will take away its tropical characteristics as it weakens. But tomorrow also is right here, the very peak of this mountain graph, which is the peak of the hurricane season on September 10th. So are there going to be any things behind Earl? Well, this one little swirl that we're tracking has been enveloped by all this dry air, so that leaves the Atlantic basin without any systems to track. That is pretty remarkable here during the peak of the season. What's next? Well, there's a wave right out here over Africa. It has not even moved into the Atlantic. So over the next 5 days, once it gets into the Atlantic, small chance, but that's a long, long way out. We're having to track things back over the Congo. So things are looking pretty quiet here on the peak of hurricane season, but will it be quiet in your backyard? More downpours in the forecast, and I'll be telling you more about that still ahead.
Thank you, Mark. Now, the Weather Authority is always tracking the tropics for you. You'll want to download both our Weather Authority app and Hurricane app. You can stay updated when a system develops and see whether it's heading our way. Search WJXT for the free app in your Apple or Android app store.
People around the world continue to mourn the loss of Queen Elizabeth II. Dozens of flowers, cards, and flags have been placed outside the British consulate in New York City. Many people stopped by to pay their respects today. Inside the building, a line of people waiting to sign a book of condolences. The books will be open to the public every day until the Queen's funeral is held. And people here in Florida are also remembering the Queen. News4Jax reporter Bree Isom spoke with one local man who has closely studied the royal monarchy and watching this shift going on now. Bree.
Yes, and he actually shared with me that we have a piece of the Queen's legacy right here in Jacksonville. I'm right behind the Prudential building in downtown, and this rock is actually a piece of the Rock of Gibraltar. And the Rock of Gibraltar is actually a place in the southern part of Spain. It's a British colony, and that's actually what's on the Prudential logo. Now, this rock was given to Prudential's building in Jacksonville from the Queen's government.
It's a piece of British history right here in Jacksonville.
Aaron Gibson Evans is an expert on the royal monarchy. He says this rock in the back of the Prudential building downtown is a piece of the Rock of Gibraltar, which is a British colony off the coast of Spain.
The Rock of Gibraltar, so the Prudential logo, get a piece of the rock. This was given to the Prudential Company for their grounds here in Jacksonville, Florida, by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's government.
Gibson Evans says he's always been fascinated with the royal monarchy. And now that Queen Elizabeth II is gone, he wants to share more of her legacy.
When she was younger, she was very involved in touring the kingdom and the Commonwealth and going to like different factories and different industries and learning about different aspects of life throughout the people that she was queen of.
King Charles III is the new monarch.
He started the Prince's Trust, which is a charitable organization in the United Kingdom that encourages children who come from families that are maybe not so well off so that they can excel and seek higher education.
King Charles III gave his first speech as king on Friday, addressing his mother's accomplishments.
The affection, admiration, and respect she inspired became the hallmark of her reign.
Gibson Evans said the speech was remarkable.
I was actually very touched by this speech. There was an element of emotion in it. He's been groomed for this. He's 73, he'll be 74 in November. He has been groomed all of his life to be a king, and he is now the king.
And now also in the King's speech, he named his son William and William's wife as the Prince and Princess of Wales. He also named Prince Harry and Meghan's children the Prince and Princess of Sussex. I'm reporting live in downtown Jacksonville. Bree Isom, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Bree. Covering Georgia tonight, police in Waycross arrested 2 men they say robbed a bank today. Officers got a call about an armed robbery at the Ameris Bank on Memorial Drive this afternoon. Witnesses told police a man entered the bank and demanded money, then jumped into a getaway car and went north on Memorial Drive. A short time later, Stephen Hams was arrested. Officers say they then tracked down Matthew McCloskey at a nearby hotel where police say he held a woman at knife point before officers were able to disarm him. Both men face multiple charges.
Well, if you have outdoor plans this weekend, you'll want to keep up with the forecast.
Mark Collins looking ahead to the timeline for rain tomorrow.
The morning show on Channel 4 makes mornings happen.
We stay local all morning long. Well, we are the local station.
Because we get answers to questions you care about the most. Like tracking crazy weather that could mess up your day.
Checking out those roadways to get you there on time.
Our reporters stay live on the scene of breaking news until your family is safe.
We're here to get your day started right.
The morning show on Channel 4 makes mornings happen.
This Labor Day at Ashley, everything is on sale. Thousands of items are in stock and ready for fast delivery. Items up to 40% off, in-store and online. Or pay 0% interest for 60 months, no money down. Visit your local Ashley store or shop ashley.com today.
Your family can get a lot more done when you work together, like making dinner together, doing laundry together, and even saving together with the FPL Energy Manager. It uses real data from your smart meter to tell you where your energy is going, then gives you easy-to-follow tips that the whole family can help with, and save you more than $30 a month. So don't miss out. Check out your free FPL Energy Manager at fpl.com/takecontrol and start saving together.
Italian. Ooh, smoothie. Have you guys been over here on this computer? Get some dinner? What don't you guys have? That's mine. You're making it right now. What is this magical place? Wawa. Freshly made hoagies, smoothies, and so much more. Welcome to Wawa. You knew about this?
Hi.
Hey, Becky G.
Did you know you can save big on unlimited internet with the Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle?
Can it handle all of my devices?
Definitely.
Okay.
No annual contract, no equipment fees. Oh, and a free streaming box.
Oh, I like streaming.
You get Xfinity Mobile too, all for just $75 a month.
Will you add a motorcycle?
No.
Did you say yes?
The Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle. It's kind of a big deal.
After an injury, it's almost always the other side's insurance company, not the individual that we go up against. That's why size matters. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Ashley's Labor Day mattress sale is going on now. For a limited time, save up to $1,000 on select adjustable mattress sets. Plus, pay 0% interest for 5 years with no money down and no minimum purchase. Visit your local Ashley store or shop ashley.com today.
Credit card companies have cleared the way for tracking sales of any guns and ammunition. It is a move supporters say will help flag suspicious sales and possibly reduce gun violence. The International Standards Organization, or ISO, agreed to create a new merchant category for gun and ammunition retailers. The codes are made up of 4 digits. They're used across all sorts of industries to classify certain retailers, but they do not reveal who made a purchase at the retailer. With the new code for gun sellers, police could track any suspicious gun purchases that get flagged.
The Justice Department and Donald Trump's legal team have proposed candidates to serve as the special master in the investigation into the FBI search at Mar-a-Lago. The two sides disagreed on the specific duties that will be performed by the special master. The DOJ proposed 2 retired judges for the role. Trump's team proposed a retired judge and a lawyer. Roughly 11,000 documents, including more than 100 classified markings, were recovered during that FBI search in August.
Exact Track 4D, the Weather Authority's secret weapon against severe storms. The most cutting-edge weather technology in Northeast Florida and South Georgia.
Rain is wrapped up for the night here in Northeast Florida, but there's still some light rain taking place across the state line, mainly west of I-95, Woodbine, Burnt Fork, and Big Oak. All this rain kind of just staying off to your east in Folkestone. We need a break here. I think we're going to see it through the remainder of the night into tomorrow morning after an inch of rain fell at the airport. But that's not all. In fact, we had over 2 inches of rain in Brunswick, an inch there in Gainesville, and many spots around Jacksonville had over 3 inches of rain, especially along the intercoastal west down through Nocatee. And in fact, if you want some proof, there's a rain gauge. The picture that I was going to show you on Snapjacks, it showed that in a person's backyard in Ponte Vedra. Well, tomorrow morning, a lot of that rain is going to be stacking up back west of I-75, and then it takes the march into the East Coast area. So we are looking at more of a confined time frame for rain. We're talking about 2, 3, and 4 o'clock in the afternoon as storms track back through Clay into Putnam and Baker counties, and then over towards the coastal communities of St. John's and Duval. And by the evening, I think it could be radically different than tonight, as a lot of that rain is going to be offshore. Now, as this frontal boundary scoots further north into Sunday, that means the heavy rainfall will start to diminish as well. So still looking at afternoon storms on Sunday, but maybe not the heavy type of rain that we had here today and yesterday. And then the trend will be for fewer storms as we start the work week into Monday. There'll still be those afternoon storms, but not as numerous. Buoys are 4 to 5 feet. This is actually the highest they have been all week long. And this is due to the expansion of Earl. As it gets bigger, it's accelerating towards the north, and the fetch is combining with this northeasterly flow, and that is going to result in rip currents lasting through the weekend. In fact, here you can see how wide this fetch is, pointed right back to our beach, and that means surf will continue to stay pretty good right on through Monday with those chest-high glassy waves out there. Tomorrow's going to be a few degrees warmer than today. I think the rain's going to be starting around 1 o'clock through 4. By 5 o'clock, most of that will wrap up. Rain chances tomorrow a little less than today, but still very high, around 70%. So you can kind of bank on those afternoon storms rolling through. You might want to wrap up your pool plans or boating activities for the early afternoon, as those storms will be marching back towards the East Coast. Sunday, again, afternoon storms. Notice the heat is with us. It starts to break down, though, as we head into the end of next week, because we'll see more moisture, more rain coming back at us. So the driest days for Tuesday and Wednesday, then a return to wet weather. It doesn't seem like we're ever going to dry out, right? Well, don't go to bed just yet. We've got much more news coming up right after this.
Gone Gauge is powered by Golden Hammer Roofing, the golden standard in roofing.
The woman who was raped by her husband.
You raped me.
Next, Inside Edition.
Monday at 7:30 on Channel 4.
It's simply the best when you have fresh groceries at great prices delivered to your door. Kroger's delivery pros guarantee your food is handled with care, and our refrigerated trucks make sure every order gets to you extra fresh. Start your cart now. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm Marco Rubio, and I approved this message.
Val Demings votes 100% with Pelosi.
America has failed.
Demings praised defunding the police.
The council is being very thoughtful.
Demings called violent riots beautiful.
I thought it was a beautiful sight.
Demings even voted for Biden's border crisis.
Crisis at the border is nothing new.
Val Demings, another Blame America First radical rubber stamp.
America has failed.
Built on family, built on community. The all-new Butler Toyota was built to provide everyone in Jacksonville and beyond with the best possible automotive experience. Enjoy a great selection of new Toyotas, certified Toyotas, and high-quality pre-owned vehicles. A service department to confidently keep your vehicle running its best. And a friendly staff to help you in every possible way. Our best service, a better experience. It's better at Butler. The all-new Butler Toyota Jacksonville. ButlerToyotaJacksonville.com.
Jacksonville has a ton of great fishing spots for us to get hooked on. But to keep it real, you gotta have the bait. It's time to vote for Jack's Best Bait Shop. Just go to News4Jax.com to make your voice heard. Jack's Best, presented by Visit Jacksonville, where you're the local expert.
In the eyes of the law, all men are created equal.
Whether your case is worth $5,000 or $5 million, it doesn't matter. This is your big case. Our principles in our fight remain the same. At Farah and Farah, it's all about you.
Join us in Random Jacks of Kindness, a year-long commitment to paying it forward with acts big and small. Sign the pledge on PositivelyJax.com.
Positively Jax, a new coffee shop is opening in Fruit Cove tomorrow morning.
It's called Noah's Agape Cafe. It's run entirely by employees with intellectual differences. Noah's mom, Becky, created the cafe to give her son and others with intellectual differences a chance to get real workforce experience. The cafe opens tomorrow for a grand opening celebration from 9 to 3 at its location on San Jose Boulevard.
We'll all need to stop in. All of us need to stop in. Go get some coffee
out
over there. That's right. Go to the cafe.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. Teal the Show is up next.
Teal the Show. It is our first Teal the Show of the year, and the Jaguars are hopefully going to give us a lot of exciting things to talk about throughout the season. Let's start off with week 1. This will be the first game of the Doug Peterson era here in Jacksonville, and they're hoping that they can start the year with their first W of the season. Doug Peterson has talked a lot throughout the offseason about the team needing to heal from what happened a year ago. Well, the guys seem to have put that behind them, but now the big thing that they need to heal from is all the losses that they've taken over the past 2 seasons. Trevor Lawrence has lost more games in the NFL than he had in his entire life before now. So a win in week 1 would go a long way for Doug Peterson and this team to really solidify that what they're doing is working.
You want to win every football game. There's no question about that. We just have to focus on us and make sure we're doing everything we can to, give our players the best opportunity to be successful on game day.
I mean, a win, obviously, that's the plan, that's the goal, and we feel great about, like I said, our game plan and how we've prepared ourselves. But at the same time, just if you lose the first game, you got 16 more. Still make the playoffs. Still got everything ahead of you. So,
if the Jaguars do turn things around this season, it will be due in no small part to their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence showed some flashes as a rookie, but overall it was a pretty down year. That's part of the reason why Doug Peterson is here now to help the young quarterback reach the heights that many people believe he can get to. Doug Peterson, a former quarterback himself, spent some time in the NFL and was even a teammate of a now NFL Hall of Famer, Brett Favre. This week, Peterson said that he can see flashes of Brett Favre in the young Trevor Lawrence. Not saying that their playing style is the same, but it's their leadership qualities that remind him of each other.
Definitely a compliment, and I'm appreciative. I try not to pay too much attention to any of that, but that's cool to be, using the same sentence as Brett and just seeing how his career was and how great of a player he was. So that's obviously a cool thing for me, but at the end of the day, I got to go prove it on the field and perform, so it doesn't really change anything.
What I meant by that, too, is just how he leads a team. Trevor's he's not the cheerleader, the rah-rah guy that, standing on the table. Brett was never that way. He always led by example, and he was a hard worker. He was dedicated to his craft. He wanted to learn and get better, and that's what I saw in Brett, and that's what I see in Trevor.
While the offense is important, let's not forget about those defensive guys. In my opinion, I think the Jaguars' defense is going to be the better side of the football, at least to start the year off. Trayvon Walker was brought in with that #1 overall pick and is expected to be a big part of what this defense does. But the Jaguars' defense as a whole has a lot of talent with a lot of players that have something to prove. The defense finished last year giving Carson Wentz fits when he was with the Indianapolis Colts. Wentz now with a new team in the Washington Commanders, and the Jaguars defense is hungry to get another W and give Carson Wentz a few more fits on Sunday.
The main thing is who come in this game with the chip on the shoulder, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have one, but the Jacksonville Jaguars had a chip for a very long time, and we want this really bad, so if anybody want this bad, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense for sure want this, so, that's the main mindset we coming in with, so any team, this team, the last team, Carson Wentz going to have to see us.
We're going to be fast, we're going to be physical, and we're going to be a smart defense. And I see that with our guys from the start of training camp to now. We progress in a good way, in a good amount, and I can't wait to see us ball Sunday.